Hey guys, it's Mackenzie from Curly Vibes on your channel. Welcome back. This is where I talk about weight loss, fat acceptance, fat liberation, stuff like that. I'm a former fat myself. I lost about 34 pounds in a little over 3 months. And while I'm not a dietitianist or a nutritionist or anything of the sorts, I'm just a person on the internet with thoughts and opinions. So without further ado, let's get to it.
Tell me what you want.
Alright, so today I'm not going to be talking about anyone specifically like I usually do. Instead, I'm just going to be looking at fat acceptance videos and seeing how ridiculous they are and give my opinions on that. We'll just click on whatever. It's okay to be bigger than your partner. Well, I mean, I agree with that. I actually weigh a few more pounds than my boyfriend, but technically my boyfriend's underweight for someone his size, which he actually eats a lot. He just struggles to put on weight. However, this is not okay, all right? This girl is morbidly obese, and clearly her partner, I mean, I can't really tell his exact shape, how much muscle he has in this video, but he's clearly a healthy weight. And considering he's a healthy weight, he most likely knows healthy lifestyles. But she's incredibly unhealthy and probably a few hundred more pounds than him. He probably has some type of fetish, to be honest. It's not okay to be bigger than your partner if you're a few hundred pounds as a woman, or even a man. Like if you're a 300-pound man and your partner's a 130 woman, you're still clearly overweight yourself as a man. But this is ridiculous. Okay, she is ginormous.
I would love to explain this to you, but not just because you
Explain how being fat is healthy.
told me to, but because everyone else should understand how the terms obese and obesity came into the picture and how unnecessary.
The terms obese and obesity came into the picture because eventually people got access to so much food that they were able to glutton themselves to morbid obesity. That's how, the word obese came to describe a person who is incredibly overweight for someone their height.
There he is. Something that a very quick Google search can do is give you a lot of articles explaining this instead of...
Yes, because it is impossible for those articles to be fake. Because, they have to be real. You can trust everything you find off the internet, guys. The internet is a super reliable source.
I'm a fat creator to explain it on TikTok. I chose a random article.
You can especially trust a fat creator on TikTok who has body positivity and fat acceptance in their bio.
Like, I didn't even fully read through it, but the very first line is, despite having a bad reputation in the wellness world, body fat is important for your health too. And
that is true. A person needs body fat on them. All right. If you have a extremely low percentage of body fat, like 3-4%, there's a very good chance you are going to be dizzy and fatigued and not be at your best performance, because your body does need body fat. Like a great body fat percentage is, say, 20%. I'm 27%, or at least last time I weighed myself. I could be less by now. I don't know. Which is in the acceptable range. So I am a healthy body fat percentage. However, there is such thing as healthy body fat percentage and unhealthy. Okay, if you're 40% body fat, that is not healthy. It means you are morbidly obese. If you are 3% body fat, that is unhealthy because you are incredibly underweight.
So let me tell you why. The very start of this says that in 2005, a scientist at the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention published findings regarding the terms like overweight, obesity, going over the BMI, and just everything along those lines. Something that this article touches on a lot is the BMI. That's your body mass index. That is just a measurement of body fat based on your height and weight. So that does not account for any sort of muscle or anything else that's in your body. It's just your body fat. So it was not supposed to be used like that and not applied to individuals as it is today.
While the BMI chart is not 100% for everybody, it is a good thing to just genuinely get an idea of what your BMI should be. For instance, I'm 5'3". My BMI says on the internet I should be about 110 pounds, but it's not taking in the fact that I have broad shoulders, I've got really wide hips, and I actually have more muscle than the average person my size has. Could I be way less? Yes, I could and still be healthy. But honestly, I think if I went any further than 130 pounds, I would probably look underweight. So, but that's only like 20 pounds off from what the BMI says I should be. Or actually, even 120, I think is actually what some of my BMI height is meant to be. I think 5 foot is 110. I'm not sure completely. I haven't looked at the BMI in a while. But again, BMI is just a general understanding of what range you should be in. All right. If you're a 5'3" woman and your BMI is 100 something, you know that's unhealthy.
Also states regarding the BMI that in 1998, the National Institutes of Health moved the overweight and obesity cutoff points down. So that included 25 million more Americans to be considered obese or overweight. So that's already a scam. So to move into exactly how fat can be healthy, and being fat can be...
Again, fat is healthy. A certain amount of fat in your body is healthy. But lady, looking at you, you were probably minimum 40% body fat, 45% maximum. You were very unhealthy. And it is very clear looking at you that you are incredibly, morbidly, ginormously obese.
Better for some people. The first thing that it tells you in this article is that it stores energy and insulates the body in cold weather. This body fat also includes fat-soluble vitamins, so it lists vitamin A, E, D, and K, which is part of why fatty foods like avocados and nuts are now considered healthy.
It's true that a lot of people think having fat in food is unhealthy. It's not. Well, it depends on what type of fat. There is healthy fats and unhealthy fats, such as, well, healthy fats in avocado, nuts, fat Greek yogurt, stuff like that, milk, cheese. It has healthy fats. But fat does make it very high calorie, so you have to watch your fat intake, but you still need fats. It's one of the things that your body needs to function correctly. Don't be afraid of fat, guys.
The points that a lot of people keep commenting on my videos is that being fat can lead to a higher risk for diseases like diabetes, heart disease, heart failure. But
so
what
they were, just telling you the truth, and you didn't like hearing it. Basically, that's the look I'm getting off your face. The truth hurt your feelings. Yeah.
they don't understand is there are a lot of things that being fat can actually help fight against.
Yeah, I guess it's true that if you have 5 pounds of fat, it can stop a bullet, but the likelihood of you getting shot is very low.
One of the first things on the list is that more fat equals more muscle.
Because that occurs because you're constantly having to walk around with 300 extra pounds on your bones, so your body has to build up more muscle to support it.
It says that bigger people tend to be stronger than thin people, according to research, and it does give you a link.
Because thin people aren't carrying around 300 extra pounds 24/7 like you are big back.
To take you to that research as well, but it just goes over that fat people can be better at strength exercises.
Yeah, but what about endurance exercise? I will literally go debate this lady if she would like to meet, but we will have to debate while going for a walk or a climb or something, going on a trail. We'll debate like that, and we'll see which out of the two of us can walk at least 10 minutes without huffing and puffing and sweating.
Weightlifting. I am not saying all fat people are super strong.
No, not all fat people are super strong, because some have gotten so fat that they are bedbound. They can't get their fat ass out of bed, so they lose all their muscle.
That all fat people are stronger than thin people, but again, this video is just explaining how fat is not unhealthy. The next thing on this list is that fat offers protection from injuries. So it says that having a higher BMI, which keep in mind that's just the measure of body fat depending on your weight and height, but that can offer protection from injury in some cases, like car crashes. Some overweight people have had less severe injuries in a crash than thin people.
Because they have so much fat on them, it did protect their bones more. The fat took the injuries, but that does not make the excessive amount of calories you were storing on your body healthy.
But the research that they have can be mixed on that, but that is a possibility of how being fat can be helpful. I'm going to read this next paragraph verbatim. It's regarding fat and fitness. It says, it's clear that fat isn't the enemy and can even be a perk in some cases. But bottom line, there's no need to be thinner or fatter in order to be healthy.
Yeah, guys, there's no reason to be thinner or fatter to be healthy. If you were 500 pounds and waddling like a duck when you walk, you are perfectly healthy. If you are so incredibly obese, you are huffing and puffing, talking, it doesn't matter. You are fine. If you are a 5'5" person and weigh 60 pounds, that's not unhealthy, guys. You're not that thin. No, you're fine. You have a very healthy percentage of body fat, even though it would most likely be clear your skin and bones, and probably fatigued and exhausted a lot. But you're fine. Just remember that, guys. You're fine. Don't listen to your body's signals.
You can be healthy at any size, while the reverse is also true. One study found out that almost half of overweight people were metabolically healthy.
How old were these people? Were they in their 20s? Their very early 30s? Or were they in their 40s and 50s? Something tells me they were in, the 20s range.
30% of normal people were not. So it doesn't depend on.
Were these normal sized people smokers or heavy drinkers, or did they genuinely not have a healthy diet? Maybe ate mostly processed and junk food, but still within their calorie range. Did the science take that into account?
What your size is. So basically, to sum everything up, it's not necessarily being fat that is healthy or unhealthy. Having fat on your body can be healthy, but depending on your diet and everything else in your life, it can make things unhealthy.
Yes, so far that is one of the only things I've heard her say are true. But again, if you are 400 pounds or 80 or 70 pounds as a grown adult, you're not healthy, okay? Your body fat percentage is way too high or it is way too low.
So it is not just being fat. One last thing that maybe not everyone knows is that centuries ago, when you had body fat, when you were actually bigger, it meant that you were wealthier because you...
Exactly. Wealthier. Body fat was seen as more praisable back then because it showed you weren't freaking starving to death like the rest of 99% of the world's population. And even then, back then when fat was more praised and, like an accomplishment, no one was as heavy as this woman. No one was 600 pounds. Okay, maximum, they probably had 30% body fat because this was way back when barely any processed foods even existed. They had sugar and stuff, but you still could not overeat like you could back then, all right? People back then who were considered fat were chubby these days, are considered chubby.
Actually had the money to afford the food that you could eat. So I'm not sure exactly when everything shifted with that.
It shifted when humans figured out how to mass produce food. So people wouldn't have to grow it on their own anymore.
But that's just another thing to keep in mind. Now, I'm not sure exactly where everyone else lives, of course, who's been commenting on my videos, but I live in America, and I grew up in a very broken system. No one really has the tools or maybe even the energy or knows where to start with teaching you how to manage your body.
That's because most of America is overweight or obese, 70% of Americans. That's why no one was able to teach you, because most people who are living in the same country as you don't know about health either.
Every single person is different. Everyone can comment whatever they want on my videos because I don't care.
If you didn't care, you wouldn't be responding to these comments in the first place.
But those words can be hurting someone else. I am fat. I have body fat.
Why would you care?
I have a lot of body fat.
You don't have a lot of body fat, lady. You have an excessive, dangerous amount of body fat. There's a difference.
That's just me.
That's just
I do not have a
you,
long list of...
because you choose to glutton yourself and hurt yourself because you were so addicted to the processed sugary foods that you have stopped caring about your own health.
Diseases that I'm dealing with. It is not something that is prohibiting me from doing things.
I'm sure it's prohibiting you from taking a walk. Probably, definitely.
I am living my life how I want to live my life because in the end, we all die anyway.
Yeah, but some of us are going to live longer than others because we choose to care for our health. And some people choose not to.
So you can be mean if you want to, but just understand that karma is a thing.
Yeah, lady, you've got karma coming upon you. You already do. You admit you had diseases. Your karma of gluttoning yourself has come upon you.
And just go from there, I suppose. If anyone has stayed until the end of this video, I hope you found some useful information and maybe...
Yes, the information I found very useful on you is that you are living in a severe delusion and need therapy immediately. If you are so confident in your own body, I don't think you need to tell the whole world. Oh my gosh, guys, look how ginormous she is. That is insane. Her stomach is touching the table, and it looks very spacious too, but she is making this thing look teeny tiny. She has to be 400 pounds, a minimum. Oh gosh, that is horrible. And lady, cover up the crop top with the shorts. Oh, she looks so sick. She looks so sick. I can't even watch this video. I'm sorry, guys. When your own reflection surprises you. Yeah, it surprised me too because you were 500 pounds. I think that would surprise anyone to look at their reflection and see someone who doesn't even look human anymore.
Fat people aren't the problem. Fat phobia is. If my body makes you
Fat people are the problem. And if you are fat phobic, good for you, because that means you are afraid of becoming morbidly obese and unhealthy. So you choose to live a healthy lifestyle to avoid that.
comfortable, that's on you.
Your body does not make me uncomfortable, but I'm pretty sure it makes you uncomfortable. Makes your knees uncomfortable, your legs, your arms, your back, especially. Pretty much every place in your body is uncomfortable because the excessive amount of weight.
The caption to learn why. Fat people.
You don't have to be fat and happy. You're allowed to be fat and not want to be fat. I hate so much what the body positivity movement has turned into. It honestly is just so toxic. I was consuming all of this content from body positive content creators. It felt like I was being brainwashed into having to be happy that I was fat.
That's exactly what the fat acceptance movement is. Honestly, not body positivity. Body positivity and fat acceptance are two different things in my eyes. If you have, say, horrible burn scars from an accident, or just, you lost an arm or a leg in a horrible car crash, or you're going bald because of old age, don't be ashamed about it. It's not your fault that that's happening. Be body positive. You can accept that. However, fat positivity is when you're glorifying obesity. It's two different things. And this girl is 100% right. You do not have to be fat and be happy with it. In fact, you should be the complete opposite. And everyone is. Every person part of the fat positivity movement is just delusional and lying to themselves that they're happy, so they can make excuses for why they can keep gluttoning themselves and giving into their addiction.
I had to be happy and content being morbidly obese. I was classified as morbidly obese, which I'm sorry, anyone can say whatever they want, but morbidly obese is not fucking healthy. But then I started to feel like I didn't fit in anywhere because I wasn't thin and healthy. I was in the plus size and obese community, but I didn't feel comfortable being there. I didn't want to be there. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying skinny or thin equals healthy. That's not what I'm saying. For me personally, I did not feel happy and comfortable in a bigger body. I never did. And I spent years and years and years trying to get to the point where all of these body positivity content creators were at, because they're always preaching self-love. Love yourself in a bigger size. You have to love yourself fat. And I never felt like that. I never related to that. I also think that a lot of those content creators that are preaching body positivity.
And it's good she never felt like that. It meant she actually had a conscience. She knew what she was doing to herself was terrible.
I love myself fat. I think those people are miserable, and I think they're really trying to convince themselves that they are happy.
That is exactly what they are doing.
May not be the case for every single one of those.
It is the case for every single one of those creators,
but I think a large portion it probably is. This is my personal opinion. So all I'm trying to say is, if you don't feel fat and happy, you are not happy in a bigger body, you are not happy being morbidly obese and severely unhealthy, having pain every single day, feeling uncomfortable in your own skin, that's okay. You don't have to be happy being fat and want to change yourself for the better. Because I think another thing that a lot of these people say is, well, you should have just loved yourself the way that you were. You were beautiful when you were bigger. You should have just loved yourself. I couldn't. I tried. I was morbidly obese for years.
I couldn't love myself when I was bigger either, because I was hurting myself. Yeah. I was addicted to food. I still am addicted to food, and it's a struggle every single day not to put the weight back on, but still, I don't give in to my addiction anymore because I want to be healthy. I want to live a long life. I want to have kids someday, be a wife someday with my boyfriend. I want us to grow old together. And I can't do that if I at myself at a young age because I was overeat.
Years. I'm still obese. I can't even explain the amount of self-love that I have grown for myself over my weight loss journey. I've never felt like this about myself before. I'm so proud of myself for finally putting myself first and my health and getting to where I'm at right now. So if you are one of those people that are truly, truly fat and happy, I am happy for you. I'm not judging you. I'm not speaking to you. This video is not for you. This video is for the people that maybe felt the way that I did in my bigger body, not feeling like I belonged in really any community. I'm also not saying you should hate yourself or think that you are worthless because you are in a bigger body. That's not what I'm saying. Don't twist my words. You are still beautiful. You are still deserving of love. Your worth is not dependent on your weight or your size. If you are feeling like you don't want to reside in a bigger body anymore and you want to work on your health and you want to get to a healthier weight, that's okay. Your feelings are valid. You don't.
All right. That's the end of that video, which I genuinely enjoyed watching. I thought it was going to be another fat acceptance video because that's what I looked up, but it seems it was an anti-fat acceptance video. And I'm glad I clicked on it and saw this because I think I'm going to end the video here. And it was really nice to end the video on a high note and seeing that this woman came to her senses and left the fat acceptance movement and got healthy. I'm proud of her. I'm so proud of her. This is like very clear to what I was feeling about myself. I was never part of the fat acceptance movement, mind you. No, I wasn't at all. But I did get my head on straight and turn my life around before I got worse. I mean, I was class 1 obese. So when I saw that I was clinically obese, I'm like, oh, no. I'll be fat. I can stand being fat, but obese? No. That clicked my head on straight again. Alright guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye!